Today is going to be a quick episode. Like and subscribe for more quick episodes. Today we see a war between these guys. Now, why did this happen is because Leningrad started to claim these areas. Estonia started to support the claims. Novorossiya and I think it's Petseri. I don't know, but this area decided to support Novorossiya, and what happened was war. Estonian troops managed to push quite far over the border at first dawn, and Novorossiyan troops couldn't push quite far, while Leningrad troops started to push further and further, eventually encircling the enemy capital right there, while the second enemy capital hasn't been yet threatened. And Leningrad has decided to push its luck and managed to actually capture something. But eventually the Novorossiyan capital was taken, and once that was done, Estonia started to push further and further from the north and started to push into this country with as many troops as it could, but it ran into many complications, such as Leningrad didn't not really helping them, and that just caused a bit of tension between them. But then Leningrad started to help, and that just relieved the tensions. Quickly, the blue team started to lose many borderlands, and eventually Latvia decided to ally with Estonia, and same with this guy down here, who also had claims on this guy. There's also another guy right here that decides to join, so Latvia is going to focus on them and a part of this border that it won't. Eventually, Estonian troops do manage to encircle a lot of troops, but that's after encircling the enemy capital, which is right there. And after taking it, this nation will start to collapse slowly. Not fast, but somewhat relatively fast about that. Latvian troops start to cross the border into this part of this blue team, who has decided to immediately surrender because it didn't want to do much. While that was going on, these guys were blitzkrieging. I am not joking, they were blitzkrieging, and that's what they call it. Quickly, we're gonna go back to here, and we're gonna see what the borders will look like. So, Estonian claims expand a bit from over here to something like this. This guy claims about this much. Latvia gains some borderlands, some provinces that it didn't really have before, and over here they just take a lot of land, which doesn't surprise a lot of people, because they immediately decide to annex most of their gains after further deciding that they want it. This Baltic part over here of Belarus decides to annex what's over here. Lithuania is not that pleased with what has happened in the northern parts, near the northern lands. Leningrad claims all of this, and this guy claims this much. And after that we see a small war of independence for one guy who just got their independence and is fighting for it, and that is not just this guy but multiple guys. Yes. First it was this guy who joined this red team, and slowly but surely a small group formed, and this was against their invader who decided to invade them. Like I said, invader. But they decided to attack first, with the first push being over in this part of the border. While the push was successful, it lacked mostly bad planning, and many troops had a severe disinformation plague that very much was a plague. They didn't know where they were going, but they just followed where the gaps were. This kinda gave an early advantage to the independence wanted, but eventually the blue team started to push the red team's flanks over here, while also trying its resolve by pushing right through these two and cutting them off. While the red team did make an effort to try and liberate the lands lost, they did not manage to regain that, but they did manage to gain some more land over here and relieve these two guys of that encirclement. Enemy red troops, not enemy, red team troops start to cross more parts of the border, and at this point the blue team goes all in with how they start the war. They push quite far into the lands they have, and mostly they push over here, which is actually a strategic move, as the northern army group is almost completely wiped out, and the blue team troops start to push in from this side, which has no surprising effect. But we do see a third party into this war that arrived very late, and it's this guy. Yes, a federation decided to attack its neighbors. Not the best federation, I can say, but it decided to go for this nation first. Well, these two, and it was actually a smart move because both of these had their capitals on its border. The red team then immediately left these parts of the front to reinforce what they had, and the blue team immediately exploited that with the help of the purple team. The purple team decided to push towards the capital that is known to be right there, although this didn't really much work as they were stopped right before they started to make any gains. Over here we do see the blues and purples fighting for some part of the lands, but not much. Not real fighting, they just bicker over who has it and who should occupy it, which kind of makes a divide, but yeah. Eventually red team troops completely are pushed out of here, and they have only a small part of what they did have left before the purple team decided to invade. So yeah, now these guys are fighting a full-on two-front war, basically. Well, on a free front because they have like one continuous front. And slowly the red team is losing because they are having trouble not being encircled, and small encirclements mean they cannot really fight back, and also their capital is at threat of being taken, so they immediately abandon the area with the president, and soon this just causes the entire frontal part of the nation right here to collapse. And we do see some fighting back, as well as a lot of guerrilla warfare happening, but not much after a few attacks that really much destroyed the Reds and fighting capabilities. As the more people that fought, the more they lost. But yeah, we'll go all the way back to where we were just before the war. Now we go on. The purple team, well, now like we saw, this nation decides to take most of what it got. The blue team did decide to take some land back. Notably, they took the other part of this nation, and a severely crippled nation. These two nations over here that were severely crippled couldn't really survive. And to make sure of that, all five nations were punished severely. Not much to the point that they couldn't survive, but the point they weren't able to function correctly. Also, these guys decided to expand their borders so far that their people started to kind of protest taking those lands, even though they were supporting the taking of these other two lands that I'm right now. Like these two lands, this nation's people are okay with, but taking this much land and creating a lot of ethnic diversity and demographic diversity is not for the population over here. And a lot of TV channels just say this was a bad move, this was a garbage move, they shouldn't have ever done it. Hey, what can I say? They like free land. But yeah, I'm gonna end it basically here. Also, I'm gonna unite these guys because, well, at this point they cannot fend for themselves. They can't fend mostly for themselves. And same with this guy. So yeah. But I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow, and bye. Because it's getting quite late and I want to go to sleep.